You are live. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Defini Cast. Today we have a very special guest with us.
Hi, I'm Kyla.
And today we have her tuning in from California. So she is a really big inspiration and she has a lot of messages to offer to the young woman out there that I also want to offer. So, again, thank you for taking your time to tune in with me today. The topic of our story, okay, the topic of our episode today is Our Story is Our Glory. And this is episode 9. So, this is a new podcast. So, we're getting it done little by little. And I'm very excited for this journey. And I appreciate all the people who take their time to be a part of this journey because we're making a statement, we're making a message, and it's bigger than us?
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted to ask you a few questions based on um your story. But first, I just wanted to start off, let the audience get to know you. How old are you and what's your career? What do you do for a living?
I'm 26 years old and I am a business owner, entrepreneur, fitness influencer, health enthusiast, all of the above.
Yes, ma'am. God bless.
Career for the last 6 years it's been because I started my
Really?
I started my business at 19. And when I
Wow.
first started, there wasn't like a lot of people like me, like a lot of fitness influencers or enthusiasts like as there are now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever heard of the company. Have you heard of Active Fitness before?
Active fitness. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was like I had like this viral plan. It was called the Mayweather plan, and that's when I
Oh,
started like selling like fitness guides and stuff. But at the time, like that was like really taboo, and they couldn't understand like the concept of like intellectual property and
okay.
buying something that you don't physically get.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of it
Okay.
was virtual, and now I'm working on launching like my own app and coming out with more like clothing.
Amazing. And you've been able to accomplish all these goals that you set for yourself at such a young age. And I'm 19 currently and I'm trying to tap well, I am tapping into business. So being able to have an older figure who started that at my age, it's
Exactly.
very beneficial, because the information that you could provide to me, and then we could reflect on that information towards other young women. So they don't have to go through, the challenges we went through. Instead of taking the steps, they could take the elevator by the knowledge and the wisdom that we're able to, provide to them.
Yeah.
But you have your body plan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The bikini body plan. My
Okay.
first guides that I ever came out with, they were just pictures. So that's something like if you ever decide to like sell guides, I would
Mhm.
say to make sure like you have videos because like a lot of people want like a thorough explanation on how to like do the workout and they want to be
Okay.
communicated with directly, talk to. So I would say like communication and skill are two things that I would recommend if you want to start selling
Okay.
product. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. For everyone who wants to tap in and you want to make your own bikini body plan, if you're somebody who is a fitness influencer out there, she leads by example. You cannot limit yourself because it's all possible. You can't limit yourself to outside projections and somebody telling you that you can't do something, because it's
Mhm.
all possible. You just have to have faith in yourself and faith in your journey. And not only faith, you have to execute with action. And you've done that.
Yeah, it was
So,
really
mhm.
difficult in the beginning, but like I'm glad I went through everything to be where I'm at now.
Yes, of course. It's all about because being grateful for all that we've went through, because if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't be at the place we are now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, moving forward, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your mindset because mindset does have a big part and it plays a big role in your growth journey, especially compared to, how you were back then compared to now. So I wanted to ask you, how has your mindset changed compared to your past self to now?
My mindset has changed like any like young adult from like wanting things the fast and easy route to kind of just wanting them to flow to you, because I feel like I went through a lot of phases where it was like hustle culture, hardworking, to then you're burning yourself out, crashing out, to now it's just like, okay, if it comes to me, it comes to me. Just allowing things to flow naturally, I feel like,
Mm,
and not forcing anything to happen. Like what's meant for me is ultimately like meant for me.
amazing. Honestly, I confide in that message a lot because I feel like it's all about like going with the flow and not putting like too much pressure on yourself, but also not allowing yourself to settle. Like
Like,
knowing you deserve more, but giving yourself the space to achieve that. Because at the end of the day, things will come when they are meant to come. You can't rush it. Like it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't rush greatness.
because the moment you do try to rush things, I feel like you will ultimately get it as fast. I mean, lose it as fast as you got it.
Exactly. Exactly. Like delayed gratification,
Hmm.
you know? So I want to ask you, what was the pivotal moment for you in your life that inspired you and made you realize that you had to change your lifestyle?
It was actually, I went through a lot of breaking points in my life. Like,
Mm.
I've had a lot of these moments, but recently I feel like I'm undergoing. I went through like a major shift when I decided to like fully go sober, and this happened in October 2023. And as you get older, you're just like, what? Okay, what am I doing with my life? Like, okay, I got to this point in my life, I've built this much success, but I'm ultimately like still indulging and stuff and overdoing it.
Mm.
So it's like, do I really have what I want? And then it just
Mm.
caused me to start really looking within and really trying to figure out, what am I trying to suppress?
Yes. That's honestly so inspiring because a lot of people think that like money's the end goal. And once they reach like money, like they're fulfilled. But you're not going to find true fulfillment until you value the things that don't come for money, like the things you have for free, your mindset, your body, the people, even the people around you, because you can't have a good connection with people, which is very important to have sociable connections because you're allowed to network, communicate, and build valuable relationships. But you can't even do that if you don't have a good connection with yourself and with God. So seeing you say that, it's amazing to see a woman grow in that way because that's what I try to encourage to a lot of women, being
Yeah.
able to understand that money is not the end goal. And it's okay to come to a point where you want to be materialistic. If you want the nice clothes, get the nice clothes. If you want the nice purse, get the nice purse. Go get yourself some dinner. Like you deserve it. You do. Like you want to carry yourself with those high, like put yourself on a high pedestal. But then it comes down to like, who are you within? Like, are you knowledgeable? Do you value your relationship with God? Do you value yourself? Like what are your values?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, so I know you mentioned like your sobriety. Like you've kind of like come a long way since then. And I wanted to say like I have also had a past. And I'm 19, so I had like a kind of like a younger past of, drinking and smoking and doing the nicotine and partying and everything. So I could relate to you in that aspect. And what I could say from my perspective is that going through those things in the moment can either be like an escape or it could be a way of just chasing like fast like pleasure,
Yeah.
like people
I
think
think it's
that.
dopamine.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, like fast dopamine, but in reality like real dopamine is working out, getting some sun. Like I
Yeah.
see your workout videos, you always running, getting
Yeah.
in the gym, making the healthy meals. That's what it's
Mhm.
about, you know
Yeah, I try to get like serotonin. I believe that's the good dopamine from,
yes.
exercising, sunlight, vitamin D. And then I realized like dopamine is just like encouraging like all my bad habits. Like even scrolling to my phone,
Mm.
I feel like that's one of the negative traits that I have that I'm working on, and just like ending all like everything I overly indulge in, because it's fine to be on social media. It's fine like to drink, I don't ever want to tell anyone that like they should just stop drinking like I did. But to
Right.
do things in moderation. But if you can't do it in moderation, like I feel like I was a person that just I can't do it in moderation, so I had to completely just
Wow.
cut it
So
out.
you just like completely cut it out.
Yeah, it was
Do
just
you
taking over my
yeah.
life.
Yeah. Do you believe, because a lot of people think that you could like balance it. Do you believe that? Or what's your perspective on that?
I see a lot of people like during the sobriety journey, I feel like I see a lot of people say that they're balancing it, but then I see how they also like treat it. Like there's your normal drinkers and then there's people who are like they think they're balancing it, but then they're blacking out every other day and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm still doing what I have to do, so I'm balancing it." And it's
Mm.
just like blacking out, that's not normal. Or
No.
overly like, indulging, like that's just not normal. Like drinking once a week, that's not normal. You should be like drink if you're going to do it in moderation, I say like for like special occasions or,
Exactly.
vacations,
Yeah.
anniversaries, because it is like the benefit that it has is that it makes you feel good, but other than that there's no health benefits to alcohol or anything. Like it's just, taking over.
Yes. And I seen that you're like you cutting out alcohol, it's like you used to be bloated in a
Mhm.
way, and it like leaned you out. So
Yeah,
alcohol, even if for the people who think that, oh yeah, I'm getting my stuff done, I have my job, I'm getting money, I'm going to the gym still, so I can drink. They try to justify themselves,
yeah.
but in reality, it just comes down to reality. Like you have to be real with yourself. You have to like conduct self-awareness and be
Hmm.
like, is this really taking me where I want to where I want to go in life? Is this going to help me achieve my goals, you know?
And even like the people who do drink and work out,
Mhm.
they end up having to overtrain to compensate all of the empty calories that they just drunk to feel better in the moment, when you could do something that's more positive that doesn't have to cost you like all these additional calories.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, for the woman out there, I just wanted to say, if you're watching this and you're having like issues with your sobriety, and because one thing I'll never do is judge nobody, because like many people are in those shoes right now, and it all comes down to just having self-respect for your like self-respect, and having a self-realization, and understanding that you don't deserve to, you know, indulge in these bad substances, like smoking consistently, drinking alcohol consistently, or consuming social media like it's negative environments. And the longer you postpone your separation from that, the longer you postpone your elevation, because God won't show you the steps that come after one, two, three, four, until you take that first step of faith and just go into it with faith and know that if you truly believe in yourself and you just
Mhm.
cut all those things out, and you take action and execute, your goals will be granted to you. So, with that being said, I wanted to ask you, on your journey to sobriety, I wanted to ask you, what challenges did you face?
Oh, I could go on and on about this one, but I faced a lot of challenges. Like for me, I feel like the first challenge was trying to ultimately get myself to stop, because I'd be like, okay, I don't have a problem. Let me just try to stop. Goes 1 week. The most I think I went before going fully, like as long as I am now. I'm almost a year now, but before that, I think the most I went was like 2 weeks. In that same moment that I would compromise my sobriety and then cheat, I would go back to overdoing it, because I would think that like, oh, I went 2 weeks, I could
Mm.
black out now. Like,
Wow.
um,
Yeah.
but another challenge I also faced is like, having I'm still young. I live in LA. I get invited to all of these like parties all the time and events,
Right.
and there's always gonna be free drinks and food and stuff. So like saying no and kind of having to like explain to people that you're sober, and people don't kind of take no as an answer. They're like, oh, you could just have one drink. Oh, like it'll be fine. Like you can go to the gym. Like you could work it out, or they'll just try to like make an excuse for you.
Wow.
So just like saying no and being firm on your boundaries is like a challenge I feel like I face. But now my friends, I feel like they get it. They see like how far I've come, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna invite Kyla, but we know that she's not the drinker friend." So,
Amazing. So you set those boundaries for yourself.
but for the
That's
new people,
good.
it's hard to
Mhm.
like
Mm.
really set that boundary because they're just like, oh, they don't know like your history, or either that, or they'll be really impressed that I don't drink. They're like, wow, so you've never drank in your life? And I'm like, no, I'm not saying that, and I don't think I'm better than anyone either. um, but yeah, I'll be like, no, like I'm not drinking now. And then I feel like the only time they really will accept no as an answer is if you just be like, oh, I'm pregnant or something. Like you have to say something kind of like outlandish for them to be like, oh, okay, don't offer her any drinks. So they
The
don't think
fact that the fact that you have to even go to that extent for
yeah.
people to like back up, like if someone says no, take no as an answer, you know. But then it's also like if we go out of our way to be like, oh, I said no, like don't ask me again, people take things personal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good that you establish those boundaries with yourself and with other people. So like especially like your good friends, at least they know, because I'm sure those are the people you're surrounded with like more often than regard on the other hand of like other people. So for example, like it's very important to have a good environment around you, like an uplifting environment, because a lot of people low key like don't want to see you win. That's why it's good to have that self-awareness and know who is really for you and who isn't rooting for you.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
like having discernment is something I'm still working on because it is hard to spot like people who are rooting for you and people who aren't rooting for you. It's a lot of like
Yes.
ingenuine like connections that you'll face, but have to like maneuver through because you have to,
Yeah.
be nice, or
Yes,
you
of
don't want to be
course.
rude.
Yeah. And I could say that for sure. As you grow older, like compared to being a teenager to growing into the 20s age, like your mind does develop more. So I
Mhm.
feel like for me, when I was in that high school era, I feel like I was more focused on the amount of friends I had instead of the quality of friends I
Yeah.
had. You know, I was more focused on, oh, like I want to be social, I want to have all these friends, like I want to talk to them all the time. But
Hmm.
no, that's not what it's about. Like, first of all, get to know yourself. Because once you get to know yourself, you're going to be able to see through people and know their
Exactly.
real intentions. So
You
I
have to
wanted to
really
ask you
sit with yourself.
oh, what was that? My bad. Go
I
ahead.
said you really have to just sit with yourself.
Yes, sit
You
with
have to
yourself. A lot of people think that solitude is like like lonely, but just because like you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Like get
exactly.
to know yourself, enjoy your solitude. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta be in so many people's faces 24/7, but those are the people who aren't secure within. So that's why you have to develop that because then if you don't, you're gonna be so dependable on other people to provide you with happiness. You're going to go jumping from people to people, whether it's friendships or relationships, looking for that fulfillment that you're looking for, when in reality, you got to find it within yourself.
Yep.
hmm So, I wanted to ask you, what are some key habits you established with yourself and kind of brought you out of that limited mindset that encouraged your success?
Something that I've been doing since I was a kid that I do to this day and age is I journal. I'm constantly journaling my thoughts, how I feel, and sometimes it's not going to be like all butterflies and rainbows in the journals, but when you move on with life, you can always look back at those journals to see how you feel, reflect, see what you could be doing better. And it also is just an outlet. So you're not venting to your friends all the time, or like people that are fake, or telling your business. You can just literally be real and sit with yourself in a journal, and it's a form of meditation for me. And I feel like that habit of journaling has helped me like accomplish goals, like set boundaries, see what I need to work on.
Yeah, that's amazing. I encourage people to journal as well. So it's amazing that you have had that going for yourself for a while.
Mhm.
And you have said that it's helped you, you know, and I'm sure in your journey. So, like you said, instead of going and ranting to friends who probably in the moment didn't really care or might spread
Mm,
your business because in the moment you just want to tell somebody, but
yeah,
you gotta like control your emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so important to become emotionally intelligent. So you respond with your values and you make decisions based off your values and not your emotions. So, for
yeah.
example, if something just happened to me between somebody and I didn't take it the best way, I would go and probably tell someone about it and be like, "Oh, this person." Like, no, that's not how
And
you're
now
supposed
you
to
look like
handle
you're
it.
talking shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if you feel a negative emotion, let it out in the journal. Nobody's gonna know. It's between you and God. You
Exactly.
know, just you just gotta settle it then and there. And then you'll feel relief after. Because one thing I could say is with journaling, I always wanted to be consistent with journaling, but my hand starts cramping.
Oh yeah.
It starts cramping. So I'm like, I just gotta fight it through because I'm really like expressing myself on pages and pages. So after that, I sit back with myself and I'm like it's just like a big relief, you know, that I was able to get all that information out and I could go about my day without having to rant to nobody, you know?
Yeah.
So regarding success, I love to ask people this question just to see their perspective. I wanted to ask, what's your definition of success?
My definition of success is internal happiness and also being able to help others.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you can't, be successful without really like giving back to others or like helping just how you helped yourself. You have to, I feel like you always need to help others. Like that's
Of
how you can
course.
make the world a better place. I know that sounds really
Yeah.
cliche, but
But
there's
it's true.
always, like we should be selfish, but we should also find the time to help our community because the world will literally be a better place.
Exactly. And I love that because like you said, real success is being able to serve people because if you have inhabited all the success and all this knowledge and all these resources, being able to serve people and actually like in an effective way where you could be a leader who creates other leaders, that's the real definition of success. Because a
That's
lot of people low key want to say like, "Oh yeah, I want you at the top. I want you to do good." They want to help you, but they don't want to give you the real information. They don't want to really guide you because they want you to do good, but not better than them.
always.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I love that definition that you have of success. And I feel as if everybody should have that perception. But you know, everyone has their own perspective, but it's very effective to have that perspective because you're going to be riding on an abundant energy wave and the more you give, the more you earn and not in a way of only to give to earn for yourself, but genuinely giving and seeing how that positively impacts your life. You know? Just
Hmm.
being a positive influence towards people and just being able to share your blessings with them. It's amazing. So, regarding your values, I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, what are your core values and how do they guide your decisions?
My core values, that's a great question. One of them is hygiene, spiritual hygiene, physical hygiene, and my overall well being. Because, like I said, I can't be successful if I'm not like selfish first and help myself first so that I can help others. And in order to do that, I need to work on my hygiene. Um,
Yes, ma'am.
mhm.
Ladies, keep your hygiene in check. Nobody likes no stinky armpits or
No,
nothing
no,
like
not like
that. Oh, oh.
that, but more so like hygiene is like to me, it's like my overall like health, like my wellness, like my physical health, my mental
Okay.
health, like that's that's my hygiene. Like,
Okay.
being taking a walk, like going to the gym, eating healthy because I know that, you are what you eat and
Yes.
your emotions do come from, your gut. Like a lot of people don't even realize like a lot of our emotions come from our gut health and our microbiome. So like maintaining like a good bacteria in our microbiome, eating wellness foods to help our overall mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that makes a lot more sense. Obviously, like hygiene in that way, being able to. So basically, how I agree with you
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect, and the way I look at it as well, like for my values are the 5 pillars that I preach to everybody, which is your mental pillar, first comes spiritual, your spiritual connection with God, because God is infinite intelligence. You have to be able to have a connection with yourself and with God, so you could have a valuable connection with other people. And then the second one is your mental. You have to be able to develop your character, develop your mentality. So value yourself spiritually, value yourself mentally, physically. You have to be able to conquer yourself and your physical pillar every day.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like, because one thing I'll say is um and I try to project that gym vibe onto everyone,
Yeah.
and not everyone will accept it, and that's totally fine. But from experience, I've been able to apply discipline physically, and from doing that, I was able to apply discipline in all the other aspects in my life. Like physical discipline was probably the first form of discipline that I've like been able to form. And then from there, I started building my spiritual connection. I started building my mentality, and then emotions, your emotional pillar and your financial pillar. If you value those 5 pillars and you strive to be 1% better in them each day, you're going to be able to achieve high levels of success, and not only for the benefit of yourself, but for the benefit of the people around you.
Yeah, it's hard to have one without the other. I feel like.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask you, how do you respond to failure and setbacks?
I use it as a motivation, but at first, like I allow myself to feel the emotions that it comes with instead of trying to like, hustle, hustle, hustle. It's like, okay, this is a something I need to work on, but it happened. I'm letting it happen, but I'm also still gonna go with the flow and not allow myself to force myself to get over it, but feel everything that it comes with.
Amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
think everyone should have that perspective on setbacks, because the way that I perceive setbacks is it's like a blessing in disguise. Like it's all about how you perceive it. A lot of people will get set back and they won't allow themselves to take risks after that. But you have to take risks because failing is a part of the journey. You have to fail forward because in reality, failing is just a redirection.
Yeah.
Like even if you get rejected by an opportunity, that is just another opportunity for you to find a better way for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So to each their own, but it's all about how everybody looks at it. I wanted to ask you regarding environment because I was discussing a little bit earlier regarding, like, especially when you were talking about with your friends being very uplifting about your journey and not basically trying to set you back in a way and respecting your choices.
Mm-hmm.
How important do you think your environment is for people who are on that growth journey?
I feel like in the beginning, because I'm gonna connect this back to my sobriety, because that is a big thing
Right.
in my life right now.
Yes.
Um, but I feel like my environment definitely has an effect on my outcome. So basically, in the beginning of my sobriety journey, I feel like I did avoid like clubs or party settings and stuff like that because I would have felt tempted. So, out of sight, out of mind. And then I
Okay.
put myself into a setting like the gym because it helped me, like you said, form a physical discipline. And I had already been going to the gym, but now like I kind of became more obsessed with the gym because now when you're
Mm.
taking out a bad habit and you replace it with a good one, it does become more into your lifestyle, and then it just becomes like second nature to you, and it doesn't feel like I'm going to the gym to lose weight, but rather so like I'm going to the gym because it's a part of my routine, it's my life. Like I like to do this because it's fun to me and it brings me
Yes.
the feeling of flow and overall happiness. So I feel like putting yourself in environments where you can grow as opposed to putting yourself in environments that harmed you or hurt you before, because like when I did used to black out drunk, it would be like, you know, in a party or a club or like settings
Mm,
like that. And then like stuff that would happen to me would be like I would lose my phone or I would lose my purse or I would end up getting hurt in some form or way. And I feel like bad things just like, you know, kept happening. So now I go to clubs still and I'm
mhm.
able to not drink. But before I did try to avoid that in like the early stages.
Okay, so you basically avoided it until you kind of created that strong will for yourself that
Mhm.
allowed you to go out and have that fun, but without the drinking.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you can
So
still have
I yeah, yeah.
100%.
What was that?
You can still have fun. You just have to set those boundaries at first. Like I probably didn't really go out for the first like 2 months. And
Mhm.
then after that, like there were events I went to, but I just, you know, said no.
Okay, that's good. It's all about setting those boundaries for yourself. And doing that, you can take a second to look at where you are now and see all that you've accomplished from the decisions you've made based on your values and not your emotions in the moment. Being able to prioritize that delayed gratification and not just
Exactly.
seeking fast pleasure.
Because it
So,
rewards you in the end,
yes,
always.
exactly, exactly. The rewards are always like those long-term rewards are always more satisfying than those short-term rewards. That literally, like for example, when I would get drunk as well, I would wake up the next day like hungover. I wouldn't want to go to the gym. I wouldn't be motivated to do anything. And
Do
that's like
anything.
negative energy. It like that negative energy projects onto the rest of your days. It projects onto your mindset, into your mood. Like, why would you want to live that way?
And then it's just a cycle.
It's just a
And then
cycle.
you're like, oh well, I already drank yesterday. I can drink again today. Like I
Yeah.
already overate. Like I would do, you know, like when you're hungover and you're trying to sober up, not sober up,
Yes.
like get back to normal, and you'll just try to
Yeah.
order food that's like fattening, like breads and carbs to make you
Yes.
feel better, but it just makes you feel worse ultimately.
Yeah. And
I'm so glad
so
I
for
haven't been
mhm.
hungover all year.
Amazing, amazing. Honestly, a lot of people who are in that limited mindset now, it's something that could be achieved. Like they think in the moment it's impossible because in the moment, I'm sure for you or for me in the moment, not to speak for you or anything, this it was like all we knew. It's all we wanted to do. We and even for the people we saw around us that maybe told us to not do it, we would look at them and be like, "Oh, like don't worry
You're
about
boring.
it." Yeah, exactly. But now, like boring now is sobriety. Boring now is going to the gym. Boring now is waking up early and doing good for yourself and investing in yourself. You know? So
Mm-hmm.
what's a message you have for those people, women or men who are still stuck in that limited mindset of, unfortunately drinking, etc.?
Well, number one, don't be hard on yourself because you're going to, if you want to change and you're like upset that you can't change because it's just not happening. Like there's been times I failed so many times to get to the point where I'm at now, and now it's just like habitual for me. Um,
Right.
when you really want something, like this is a quote from one of my favorite books, The Alchemist, the whole universe conspires like with you to get it. And I feel like eventually it's gonna click for you. For me, I guess my frontal lobe, they say your frontal lobe develops at 25.
Mm.
I feel like when my frontal lobe really started to like develop, it just made sense for me. It's like, okay, I want this type of lifestyle. In order for me to get this type of lifestyle, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. So you basically have to look at the lifestyle that you want and say, do my daily habits like align, and my core values, do they align with the person that I want to be? And if they don't, then it's time for you to like sit with yourself and say, okay, I need to make this change, and I'm gonna make this change.
Amazing. That's an amazing message. And for the people who are watching this, Kyla leads by example. Okay. It's honestly, it's really not impossible. And like she said, like, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. Like, don't think that you're unredeemable because you are. It's just all about taking a step each day, you know? So,
Especially
yeah.
if it's something like you said, like if it's all you know, like there's people that come to me and they ask me for advice and they're like in their 40s or in their 50s and they feel like their life is like over. But it's just like
Mhm.
it's never too late to start to work on a better version of yourself. Like I don't care how old you are, you can always go after that dream and work on yourself and change yourself if you really want to.
Yes. Yeah, you could be 30, you could be 40, you
Mhm.
could be any age. That's the thing, like, a lot of people think that they reach a certain age and they're like, "Oh, it's too late." Guys,
Yeah,
if you're 40 watching this, go after your dreams.
go
Like,
after it.
really, it doesn't like, age is just a number, you know? Don't
Mhm.
think just because, like, you missed age 20, you can't achieve something. Like, you're still alive. These goals that you wanna achieve, they're not impossible until you're not breathing no more. So if you're breathing still and you're alive and you're waking up every day, that's God giving you an opportunity to go after after those goals and
Mhm.
achieve and just be a high achiever, you know?
Yeah, I also want to do some
Yeah,
self promo right now, but I dropped
okay.
this song, but I dropped it like
Oh,
2 years ago. But that's also me going after my goals because singing has always been one of my like true goals in life, and I feel like it's never too late to chase any dream that you have. Like you can always work on being the better version of yourself,
yes,
and don't
ma'am. That
compare
song is
yourself to anyone too.
yes, of course. Comparison is the thief of joy. But
Mhm.
regarding your song, I made an edit on Instagram to it. Your song is fire.
Thank
What
you.
the name of it is Manifest, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna tag it in the description because guys, that music video was fire. She was looking beautiful in it. The voice was given, and the message behind it as well. And the message behind it as well was also beautiful, you know? I used it in that video, like starve your distractions, feed your
Yeah, I
focus.
love that caption. I made a I redid a video like that from your
Yes,
caption.
ma'am. So, like you said, I wish you the most absolute blessings regarding your music, like career. And you have an amazing voice, and you're truly beautiful, like inside and out. Girl, go for it. Go for it. And I'm
I
gonna be
just
your
feel like
supporter.
you're very intelligent, and I feel like all the knowledge you're saying at your young age of 19 is really inspiring because I'm 26 now, and like I feel like it took me some time to have these beliefs, and it's really inspiring to see someone so young and educated like yourself.
I appreciate that so much. I cherish like comments like that. Ooh, because you know, it has been challenging even at a young age to come to the point where I'm at now. So to be able to hear that, like I really do appreciate that. So thank you.
What
Oh,
made you want
little
to
flash. Mhm.
uh like change your lifestyle?
Wow, you throwing the questions back at me. I
Yeah,
love it.
I want to know your story because that's how I found
Thank you.
your Instagram
Wow.
from.
Yes,
You
the
had a
change your
viral
habits.
video. Yes.
Wow, I remember that. I
Mhm.
really do remember that, and that Instagram video was low key like a pivotal moment for me. I got a lot of hate actually in my comments. I didn't respond to anything because at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, everyone is gonna have their comments. But me personally,
Mhm.
I would say 17 was the pivotal age for me. Like,
Wow.
yeah, 17. You know, I came to a realization that what I was doing currently didn't align with where I wanted to be in the future. And
Mhm.
having people around you who encouraged who you want to be is very important because at the end of the day, you need guidance because it's so easy to be misguided by
Mhm.
wrong influences. And like, you know, I've had a lot of older influences in my life who have been bad examples, but you could take that and learn from it. A lot of people I feel like take the bad examples in their life, even if they have like parents who put them through trauma or brothers or sisters or family who put them through trauma, they use it as an excuse
Yeah.
to be like, okay, well, they're treating me like shit. I feel like shit. I'm gonna go drink. I'm gonna go smoke. But no, that's not the answer to your problems. You gotta realize, you know what? It's unfortunate that this is my environment, but my outer circumstances don't gotta influence my inner circumstances. Because at the end of the day, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So basically, the pivotal moment for me was like around the age of 17. And since then, little by little, I've been developing myself, self educating myself, and there's no limit to learning. One thing I'll say is I know nothing still, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I am still young. I am not better than nobody, but nobody's better than me either. So it's like we're all humans at the end of the day. This is our first time experience life. We're all just trying to figure out our way. So it's like I love spreading that information and that inspiration that I've gained because I love to see people win, you know?
Yeah. I like that perspective. This is our first time experience in life. As we
Yeah, it is.
know.
Like that's the one thing I say for parents. Like a lot of people don't forgive their parents for certain things that they've done to them. But like don't hold a grudge because it's their first time being a parent. Even though they're like 50 years old, 40 years old, it's their
Yeah.
first time being that age, you know? So
Yeah.
I've tapped into that mindset and it brought me a lot of, just calmness
Yeah.
in
I
that
never
era.
thought of it like that. You just opened my eyes.
I'm glad.
I don't know. You
I'm
know,
glad. Well, I wanted to say thank you again for coming onto this podcast. All the information and all the inspiration that you've provided, it even if it impacts one person, that's all that matters. Even if it touches one person's lives and it becomes a pivotal moment for one person's life, that's all that matters because that's what the purpose is at
yeah.
the end of the day. So again, I wanted to say thank you for joining. Shout out to you.
For having
And I'm
me.
looking forward to having you on again soon.
Oh, I would love to come back.
Yes, ma'am. So everyone, make sure you tune in, subscribe to Fitney Cast, and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, girl.